Hey everybody, welcome back to lesson 2. So in last week I talked about kind of the process of forgiveness, why we do it, at least how we start to do it, right? And today I want to talk to you about acknowledging your pain, acknowledging the wrongdoing that was done to you. You know, a lot of times I think forgiveness has been said like, just don't think about it anymore. Just get over it. Just move on, right? But that's not true forgiveness because it's still harbored within yourself. It's somewhere in your soul, or you're even allowing it to sink into your spirit. It's definitely affecting your body, which I'm going to talk about in a few weeks from now. And so this course is not just about masking how you feel. This course is about getting rid of it, not letting it in you at all, letting it have no place in you at all. And so that can't be done without acknowledging your pain, without acknowledging your wrongdoing. You know, a lot of times we don't like to feel uncomfortable, right? We don't like to feel sad. We don't like to feel angry. We don't want to feel what we would call bad or negative emotions, right? And so we don't. We distract ourselves, whether that's through the TV or staying busy, you know, working all of the time, or whether it's through food or drugs or alcohol. You know, there's many different things that people use to escape. Binge watching Netflix constantly is one of them. So there's lots of different things that we can do depending on our personalities, what we're more bent towards to escape these feelings. So we think if we don't feel those feelings, then they're not controlling our lives. But the truth is that they're exactly controlling our lives, aren't they? They're dictating where we go, who we go with, where we spend our time, how we spend our time, if we do or do not do something, right? Doesn't it? It has complete control over us. And so I want to talk to you about the power of acknowledging your feelings. Your feelings are not bad. Your emotions are not bad things. They are telling you that something is off. They are telling you, hey, you got to address this. The more that you run from that, the more that you allow that thing to sit there. And then the next time that it happens, again, the more you just allow it to sit there, and it builds up over time. And then another instance happens, and that too continues to accumulate in there. And so the more that we don't pay attention to our feelings, the more that we are going to have issues and have these triggers, as we call them, happening to us even when we don't want them to be. Now, I've had clients before who say, you know, I just don't even want to admit that this is how I feel or that this is what I'm thinking, right? And we think that it's too bad to bring out into the open. But the truth is that once you bring it out into the open, you're going to get free from that thing. Only things in the dark can control us. Once we bring it into the light, it has no hold over us. The other thing to remember is that God already knows all of your feelings, all of your thoughts, and every situation, again, that has happened to you, whether you were even aware of it or not. And so when you understand you're just being honest with your own self, by acknowledging your feelings, you're just being honest to yourself. You're being true to yourself. You're acknowledging, this is bothering me. There is something in me that needs attention right now, and I'm going to give it to it. Now, if you did the homework from last week, you have a list of people, of places, of events that have happened to you that you have negative feelings about, that you have unforgiveness or hatred towards, and that's great. You know, the more that we're truly open to learning how to forgive and to know how to forgive, don't be surprised if there's things that you need to add to that list as we go through this course. That's exactly what happened to me. In fact, some of the things that I wrote down on my list, I didn't even know happened in real life. I was not present for those things. I was, you know, not even born yet for some of the things. God will reveal to you. He will start speaking to your spirit and start saying, these things are connected to you. So whether you believe in bloodline curses or not, I am telling you, I know for sure it is real because I wasn't even born, and God was revealing things to me that were in my bloodline that I needed to address in terms of forgiveness. If I didn't address those things and break those curses, then it didn't matter if I forgave all of the other things that had happened in my lifetime, because there was something that was stacked against me before I was even born. And so I encourage you again to just be open to Holy Spirit. Allow your spirit to be directing you through this course, not your soul, your emotions. It's going to be uncomfortable. You know, some of these feelings are definitely going to be uncomfortable, but it's important that you push through those and that you address them, that you bring them into the light. I do want to touch on identity one more time. Actually, I think I touched on it a few more times in this course, but one more time right now. If you think about who you are truly, or think about where you see yourself, you know, in the future, how does your life look? I want to ask you if it's compatible with carrying around this unforgiveness, because for me at least, I knew that the unforgiveness was causing me to think in ways that I had never thought before. It was causing me to behave even in ways that I had never, that wasn't who I was. And it was completely ruining, controlling my life. And so you can't both be free and bound up in unforgiveness at the same time. So you have to continue to side with your identity. You know, if you need to go through and write down all of the things that you are, you know, I am free, I am the head, I am not the tail, I am above and not beneath. Whatever speaks to you, write down who you are and declare those things over yourself, because your words will create your world. What you speak out is what's going to happen. And so a lot of times you'll see people who are constantly negative. They're always saying how all these bad things happen to them. It's because they're causing it by how they're speaking. They're causing it because that's what's in their heart. That's where their spirit is focused on, right? And so it allows their soul to sow into that thing. We're going to talk about the law of attraction and all of that in a little bit later on in this course, but I do want you to understand that your words create your world. And so if you will start making declarations about who you truly are today, you're going to see such a huge difference even later on down the road. And now I want to talk about how fear plays into this. You know, a lot of us are afraid to start looking inside of what's actually in our file of unforgiveness because we don't even remember what's in there. And we're afraid that if we start opening it up, oh, it'll just never stop. You know, I'm going to be sad, or I'm going to be angry. I'm going to be, more wounded for forever. I don't know how long it'll last. I don't know if there's any way out of that, right? And so that's some of the things that our minds, our souls will tell us to avoid that pain. You know, we've really got a war going on inside of ourselves at this point, right? And so I want to encourage you to look at the situation that you are putting yourself in a jail. You are both the prisoner and the jailer in this situation. You are keeping your own self in a prison, and the bars are fear. You can set your own self free, but you have to do it. Nobody else can make you do it. I can't, all the commands in the world to forgive isn't going to help you any, is it? It's just going to remind you of the fact that you haven't forgiven. That's not what this course is about. This course is meant to give you the power and the control over your own life, and that begins by looking at things for how they truly are. Yes, it was absolutely horrible what happened to you, what they did to you, what they said about you, what they didn't do for you. All of those things are horrible things. They're bad things. But that has nothing to do with this situation that you're in right now, because you're allowing yourself to be contained by the things that had happened to you instead of saying, you know what, those things happened to me. That was absolutely horrible. I'm going to do something about it. I'm going to be a better person because of it. I'm going to make sure that there is some sort of social law implemented, or that there is a new program started because of what I went through. I'm going to find other people who have gone through this, and I'm going to help them get through it. You can either turn every situation into a positive or negative, and that's only up to you. You control the situation. And the other thing that I want to mention right now is that when I continue to not address my true feelings, when I just sit in this jail and I just try to pretend that I don't feel these things, and I, have all of these reactionary mechanisms built in for when I'm triggered by certain events or places or even words or smells, then I'm not changing anything. I'm not learning anything, am I? Most of our situations, for whatever reason that we can't forgive, unless it was something that happened to you as a child, or it was a random act, like you were just driving down the road and, a drunk driver hit the car that your dad was driving and he was killed in a car accident or something like that. Those kinds of things you obviously had no control over. You couldn't control, what happened to you as a child, and there's absolutely no excuse for anything that was done wrong to you as a child. And my heart is truly of one to see redemption in your situation. I have babies, and again, if you've listened to my testimony, if you know my story, I truly hate child abuse of any kind, and so and neglect. So besides those situations, there were probably choices that we made that put us in the position of something bad happening to us or something wrong happening to us, and that's why we can't forgive. The other thing that happens when this occurs and we're not willing to actually look at the whole situation for what it truly is, we're going to continue to make those same choices. We're going to continue to make those same bad choices, do the same patterns of behavior that we've been doing. And this is going to continue to lead our lives further down a direction that we don't want to go. The only way to renew our mind, right, to think differently and to make different choices, to do different behaviors, is by taking an honest look of why we ended up in this situation. How was this thing even able to occur in my life? And once we've done that, we're going to be able to get back onto the course that we want to be on in the first place. Again, this just comes down to recognizing the fact that I don't have it all together. I'm still learning, I'm growing. I need to allow this situation to serve me. Regardless of how horrible that situation was, there's something good that you can get from it. There is a change that you can make from it. There is growth to be had from that situation, and it's your job to find out what it is. It's your job to figure out how that can be applied in a useful situation to your life. You know, Ashes to Beauty was founded because of everything that I had gone through. If I had continued on my life, I would still be working for the government, wouldn't I? I wouldn't be talking to you right now and reaching you and helping you through the process of unforgiveness and stepping into your new life and learning who you truly are, connecting with your identity and all of that. So there's something good that can come from every situation, and when you look at it that way and you try to dig and dig and dig until you find the good in that situation and how that situation can serve you, then you're going to continue to do the same patterns of behavior, right? Okay, guys, you have your exercises and reflections to do for this week. I will see you next week for lesson 3.